Welcome to the BEASTwriter podcast, where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto. We are having difficulties right now. Hold on. Give me a second right here, folks. A lot of red here. Let's see. That's not good. Let's go live here. Okay. Hold on. Anyways, hopefully you guys are on here. If you're not, well, it looks like we're getting people in here. So what an error occurred. Why is an error occurred? Edit. Okay, I think we're good. Anyways, how is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is having a fun and happy Thursday. We are having on our live stream at 2:30 p.m. Mike Tang, co-host of the MJ Sportscast, also the Yang and Tang Show. You guys know Mike Tang. He's on here every Thursday, 2:30 p.m. on our live stream. We're going to do a lot of talking here. Like I said, I have no idea what is going on. Let me just bring in Mike Tang. Mike, what's going on, bro? How are you? Can you hear me? Mike, can you hear me? No?
Yeah, I think there's some audio issues, man.
On my end or your end? My end?
I'm hearing like your echo from like 5 seconds ago.
Oh, are you serious? Okay,
Yeah.
let me
leave and come back.
It's probably my side, to be honest with you. But try it out. Try coming back out and then coming back in. So I don't know. I guess there's audio issues. Are you guys having audio issues on your end? If you are, let me know. Let's see here. Go live. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about some stuff here. I guess something went wrong. We're working on getting this fixed as we can. That's weird. Okay. Interesting. All right. So I guess there's something wrong with Facebook, but YouTube is working just fine. So we're just going to hop on YouTube here. Thank God for YouTube and Twitter. Everybody can hear me fine, right? If you guys can hear me fine, give me a thumbs up. I think there's something wrong on Facebook. I'm trying to go through Facebook right now, and I can't even. Yeah, something's wrong on Facebook, it looks like. That's not good. Anyways, we are here live. Thank you so much. Tony Nakatani says, YouTube is better than Facebook. All right, Sandy Seafer says, we are good. All right, I can hear both of you guys. Yes, that's what I thought. So, again, Facebook, something's wrong with Facebook. Hey, you know something wrong with Facebook, Mike?
Is there something wrong? What's going on there?
Go to facebook.com and let me know if you can open a new web browser and see what it says, if you're cool on your end, because I can't open up a new web browser for some reason.
Man, just having all sort of technical difficulties today, huh?
I guess.
Yeah, it's not working.
Oh, Facebook, you screwed up, dude. Mark Zuckerberg, you screwed up the BEASTwriter family live stream. It's all on you. I thought it was me, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And you probably thought it was me. I think all bets were on me that I screwed this up. It was Mark Zuckerberg. You screwed up, bro. Anyways, screw Facebook. I'm joking. Facebook's great. Mike Tang, thank you so much for coming on to the show as you do every 2:30 p.m. live stream. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How about you, Ryan? It's been a while here.
Yeah, we missed last week, didn't we? We missed last week.
Yeah, we did, man. So
and I couldn't even do so. That's why I kind of squeezed in a podcast yesterday because I was doing construction yesterday. So I squeezed what I could. It's just kind of hit and miss here. But thank you for hopping back on. What are your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons? Let's just dive right into it, dude. I know we like talking about the Niners, but obviously we have to talk about these other 31 other NFL teams. What are your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons possibly moving the number 4 overall pick? What are your thoughts there?
Well, it goes to show that they're not really sold on that player who might land at number 4, to be honest with you. So they're not sold on Mac Jones or Justin Fields here. If I were them, I would go with the best player available here, and I would go with Kyle Pitts. But at the same time, the Falcons have so many needs, and tight end is probably not a big priority here. So they have a couple options. They could go ahead and draft Mac Jones or Justin Fields. They could go with Kyle Pitts here, or they could go with Penei Sewell, offensive lineman here. But it sounds like the Falcons are just not really sold on that number 4 pick, and they just want to trade down and accumulate more capital. So what are your thoughts on it, please?
I mean, okay. Honestly, I stayed up till 3:45 a.m. I've been staying up till 3 a.m. doing all that. This is what I do. Literally, I'll stare at the screen. I'm not joking you. It's nuts. It's kind of like obsessive. Like I'm weird like that.
Yeah.
But let me just break it down for you, okay? I'm looking back in what I like to call my dirty archives, where I go back and I look at all these things. And here I am looking at everything, and I'm saying, okay, well, what exactly is going on as it pertains to the analytics, right? So I'm a very analytical guy. And when you look at ever since I've been covering the draft since 1998, and you look at the teams that were drafting, inside the top 10, and then furthermore made a move for a quarterback, you have to take that into account and say, based on history, based on what Jim Trotter was saying, was echoing his analysis, is these quarterbacks do not pan out. Here's some food for thought for you. The Falcons hold the number 4 overall pick, and I agree with you 110% that they're not sold on taking a quarterback because, again, they already have and are tied too much dead money up in Matt Ryan's contract, so they're not going to get rid of him this year and possibly even next year. I don't see that happening. You also have a lot of money tied up into Julio Jones. However, those guys are aging players. Julio Jones came out, I believe, in 2011. And Matt Ryan, as you know, I think he's going to turn like what? How old is this guy? Like 36 years old, 37 years old? Or
No,
how old is
I think he's in his mid
34?
30s, 34,
Okay.
35 here.
Okay. So let's say he's 35, right? Let's just break it down the middle. Let's say he's around 35 years old, whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
That's old for the quarterback position. And you're going to have to find a eventual replacement at some point. However, because of the way his contract is structured, it's hard to move on from Matt Ryan. And the way I see it is as if I'm new GM Terry Fontenot, I'm looking at this in a number of different ways, right? I can look at it and say, well, there's a lot of different things that we can go. There's a lot of different directions that we can move in, but we hold the number 4 overall pick. It's a prime position. So what I would do if I was GM Terry Fontenot, and I'm thinking like a GM, what I would do is I would actually trade out of that spot because it's no good reaching for need, diminishing the value of the pick, going after a quarterback who throughout history has proven they're overhyped for a reason, like Jim Trotter says, and they don't pan out, right? I was looking at the analytics, and since 1998, there's been 9 quarterbacks who teams have drafted inside the top 10 and traded up inside the top 5 for that quarterback. 9 times since 1998. Do you know how many times of those 9 quarterbacks that were selected, how many actually panned out?
I'll say maybe 1 or 2.
Yes, 2. That was
2,
Eli
right? Yeah.
Manning and Michael Vick.
And those were number 1 picks, right? Those were consensus number 1 picks
There
at the
you
time.
go. There were
Yeah,
consensus. God, Mike Tang, you were on fire. It's like we're on the same wavelength.
of
It's like you
course,
knew the
man.
answers to the test before I'm testing you. I like.
This is what
Well,
happens
how
when
do you
you
know this, dude?
this is what happens when we watch your show all the time, man,
Shut up.
like
No, very, very great points. They all went number 1. So history would tell us what? That the Niners, even though they traded from number 12 to number 3, hey, that quarterback, whoever it is, whether it's Zach Wilson or someone else, is not going to pan out because they have never panned out.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
Since 1998. Never. And that's an absolute. We never use absolutes, but in this case, it holds true because it's very factual information. Since 1998, there hasn't been a quarterback who was drafted inside the top 10 that a team traded up for inside the top 5 that actually panned out.
So we're basically playing the lottery then, right?
It's
Like
worse than the lottery. It's a guaranteed L.
we're basically trying to play the lottery and we're gambling,
You
right?
are
We're
gambling.
gambling. Yeah, we're gambling that Jones, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance are going to turn out into superstar players, right? But in
Right.
all reality, it's most likely going to be the top 2 picks in this draft.
Right.
So yeah,
I agree.
your boy, your Trotter. I watched that show there, and
Yeah.
he made a great breakdown of all the quarterbacks the last like 10 to 15 years who are still with the same team, right?
Right.
And most
Right.
of them are not even playing quarterback within their same team. So
Exactly. And here's some other food for thought, right? So Mel right here, she says, of all the teams that need draft capital, the Pats and Broncos would be an ideal choice to trade up to number 4. I agree with that 110%. Don Lovato from the BEASTwriter family also says the Denver Broncos want number 4. So I was doing a lot of thinking about this, right? So the Broncos hold a number 9 overall pick. by trading back from 4 to 9, you're only moving back 5 spots, but you're still getting a player at a position in need that creates value there, because if you go anywhere outside the top 10, you're kind of playing Russian roulette, because this edge class and this defensive class altogether collectively is not very strong. This team has a plethora of different needs, especially on the defense side of the football. However, if you're GM Terry Fontenot, you don't want to move back too far with a team like Washington, who sits at number 19, or the Chicago Bears, who sit at 20, because at the end of the day, you're going to lose out on draft position, because when you pick that late in the first round, you're not getting a top tier player at a position of need that you would otherwise get inside the top 10. So that's why I believe, I agree with Mel. I agree with Don. I think the Denver Broncos would likely move up to number 4 for a guy like Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
And the Falcons could move back to number 9 and still get, and hear me out, my bold prediction as it stands today, based on if that trade goes down, is Devontae Smith out of Alabama. Atlanta Falcons love their SEC wide receivers. You see with Julio Jones, you saw Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's playing on the last year of his contract. You need an insurance policy in case he departs in free agency next year. Who's going to be that guy? Well, you have Devontae Smith sitting there, who is arguably the best wide receiver in this year's draft class, the cream of the crop, and he set the SEC score record, Heisman Trophy winner. You get what I'm saying. This guy is an absolute baller, and getting a player at 9 of his caliber when you otherwise could have had him at 4, while still getting draft picks in return, it's a win-win, because now you're giving Matt Ryan another weapon to work with. And if not him, what if Kyle Pitts falls? Now, a lot of people don't think Kyle Pitts is going to fall that far. However, there's only been 4 tight ends drafted inside the top 10 since 2000, right? When you take that into account, how many of those tight ends actually pan out, right? Like, of those tight ends, that's a small sample size to pull from, but how many of those tight ends actually panned out when it came to drafting them inside the top 10? Well, let's look at history. History tells us one thing. Kellen Winslow, Vernon Davis, Eric Ebron, TJ Hawkinson. 2 of those 4 players were drafted by the Detroit Lions, ironically, coincidentally.
Yeah.
So obviously the Lions sitting there at number 7 are not going to draft another tight end inside the top 10, because they had TJ Hawkinson, who they drafted in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves Kyle Pitts as, I would say, I'm pretty sure at least 10 teams have him as their highest rated player on their board, regardless of position.
Right.
If he falls to the Falcons at number 9, it's going to become between Kyle Pitts and Devontae Smith, because Kyle Pitts would be an instant upgrade over Hayden Hurst, who they traded for with the Baltimore Ravens last year, and adds another dimension to the offense. But Devontae Smith adds an insurance policy as a pass-catching threat outside the numbers. Who would you go after? I know I'm rambling a lot. Who would you go after, Kyle Pitts or Devontae Smith?
Me personally, I would want to go after Kyle Pitts. I think he's the best available talent in terms of like the offensive side there. I think Kyle Pitts is 2 tiers, maybe a tier better than Devontae Smith at this point.
Okay.
Here, so I would take him. But if you can trade down and get Devontae Smith and pick up more draft capital, I'm more than willing to take that as well.
Right on. Ryan. All right. If you guys are just tuning into the BEASTwriter family, we have Mike Ting on our show. And just do us a solid and please subscribe to the YouTube channel below, youtube.com/BEASTwriter, and you'll be entered to win our Family Friday 2:30 p.m. live stream giveaway, which is this 49ers Dry Fit t-shirt, along with a 49ers flag, candlestick, farewell to season candlestick flag. This was supposed to be given to Anthony Lovato, and I gave him 2 weeks to go ahead and claim his prize, and it's been 2 weeks now, and he has not responded to me. So I don't know what else to do, but other than say, hey, this is going to be out again. So we're giving away 2 different prizes, 2:30 p.m. on our live stream. And again, go ahead and hit the like buttons, as 704 Bound Charlotte always likes to say. All right. So getting back to football, Atlanta Falcons, you think ultimately they're going to move at 4, or do you think they're possibly even, hey, what if they trade up with the New York Jets for number 2? Could you see that playing out?
I don't know if I really see the Jets getting out of that number 2 spot. I'm pretty sure they're sold on Zach Wilson, especially since they traded away Sam Darnold. And when they traded away Sam Darnold, it indicates that they're basically all in on Zach Wilson from day one. And I think Zach Wilson is probably going to be the starter from day one here, because I don't think the Jets really have anyone else to compete against Wilson, do they?
Right. Not really.
Yeah. So I don't really see the Falcons trading out unless they get wowed by like Justin Fields or something and believe that Justin Fields is a better player.
Great question. That's a great point. Not great question. Great point. And I would say, does that still leave the door open for Jimmy Garoppolo to make his way to New York?
It does a little bit here, but I'm not sure if Robert Saleh is sold on having Jimmy G, you know, go play with him. You know,
Okay.
I think Saleh has seen the ups and downs of Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think he wanted to, leave San Francisco, be a head coach, build his own team here. And I don't know if he wants to, deal with all the Jimmy G baggage that comes with
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah. I mean, that you bring up great points, but if they did, it's interesting, right? Because they don't have a quarterback really. So can you really throw Zach Wilson to be the entrenched day one starter without offensive line? I think that would be. I wouldn't do that. I would definitely pump the brakes because you're not in it to win it this year, anyways. You're in a rebuild mode.
right.
So if I was the Jets GM, I would kind of pull back, let Zach Wilson learn the system a little bit more, maybe bring him in, maybe after week 8, after week 9, when he kind of learns the NFL game and see how to prep for the NFL game each week and week in and week out. Because at the end of the day, it's like this, man. Like it's like this. No quarterback can have success without a strong supporting cast, or at least a decent supporting cast. We saw it in the Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes. He have his starting offensive tackles, and all things went to crap, right? And
Right.
that's Pat Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the NFL today. So if he's struggling, what makes you think a rookie quarterback is not going to struggle with lesser talent around him? Definitely is. And I would have a bridge gap quarterback. Now, if that's Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know, because that would kind of cause some rift and friction there. But it is interesting to point out because Jimmy Garoppolo, the talk is not dying. It's only heating up. It's only ramping up. And now that Mac Jones is possibly going to be the pick with the 49ers or for the 49ers at number 3, I'm still not buying that. I think that's a bunch of BS. And I don't care what Mel Kiper puts out there. I don't care what Todd McShay. I'm saying this, and I don't care if I'm wrong, or if I'm right or wrong. I'm going to take a stance. I think it's total BS because you don't draft a guy at number 3, giving up all that draft capital when you could have had him at number 6 or number 7. And you cannot tell me that there were teams inside the top 10 who weren't willing to move those players or move those tradable assets in order to be in trade discussions with the San Francisco 49ers, because I was told that there were multiple teams who were willing to go ahead and make that deal. Ultimately, it came down to this. If Mac Jones really is the guy in San Francisco, which is very, 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 very concerning for me, then why would you have to move up to number 3 to get him and give up all that draft capital insurance? Again, it comes back to the draft capital. I don't care if you made a play at number 6 with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then you got Mac Jones at 6, because then you can rationalize that and justify that and be like, hey, we gave up less draft capital, but we still got our guy. Logically, who would trade up in the top 3 for a guy like Mac Jones aside from the San Francisco 49ers? Let's be real about that.
No one. No one.
Name it.
No one. No one. No one would trade up in the top 5 to get Mac Jones at this point, right? So I think the 49ers, they don't even know who they're going to pick with that number 3 pick, right? They made this move without a real 100% player in mind here. So I don't know. It could be, honestly, it's a tough guess. A lot of national beat writers are saying it's going to be Mac Jones here. A lot of people like Trey Lance. I wouldn't discount Trey Lance from that pick as well. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're right. Why would you give up all that for Mac Jones, right? So they don't know. I don't think they even know who they're going to pick, to be honest with you. And the draft is only a few weeks away. So
this is my guess. I think they do have a guy in mind. I think ultimately it's Zach Wilson. I'm going to stick on the Zach Wilson train until the day I die. I believe that guy is Zach Wilson. Now, let me tell you something. I can foresee everything Kyle Shanahan's going to say in his post-draft presser. Whoever that quarterback is, he's going to say, he was our guy. He was our guy all along. We didn't care about what the Jacksonville Jaguars picked if they went ahead and surprised everyone and picked Zach Wilson. We don't care what the New York Jets pick if they went Justin Fields. We knew that Mac Jones was our guy. We knew Trey Lance was our guy. That's what he's going to say. It's all total BS. Come on. That's BS. You know damn right that the guy ahead of you got the guy, and you have to come out and be like, hey, faithful, you know what? We don't care who they got because we got our guy. He was number one on our board. I never bought it, and I never will. This is what's going to happen. Exactly, he's going to say. And then all of us are going to be writing about it, tweeting it. Oh, Kyle Shannon said he was their number one choice all along. Da, da, da. Really, bro? Come on. Get off that hype train, bro. You're smoking too much. Let's go ahead and move on. We talked about Mac Jones. We talked about Mac Jones a lot. A lot of people put stock in his body type, how he's a dad bod type of a guy. Yeah. How much emphasis do you put in the eye candy test, or do you just look at it for what it's worth and be like, hey, the guy's a winner, just turn on the film?
I think it's too soon to say Mac Jones is a winner and start comparing him to guys like Brady. Brady was a guy who just bombed the combine, back then. Here, just because Mac Jones had so many weapons in Alabama, and you can't really say, okay, this guy is a leader. This guy was the main factor in driving Alabama's offense. In reality, you plug in a guy like Trey Lance in there, who started the same amount of college games as Mac Jones. I think Trey Lance would probably succeed too, right? And if you put Justin Fields in that same offense, I think Justin Fields would even exceed Mac Jones in terms of touchdown passes and his stats. So I don't know. I just think like with Mac Jones, it's like, okay, they're giving him an excuse. They're saying, okay, this guy's not athletic, right? He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the fastest, yet he's a winner. And that's why he's going to succeed in the NFL. And I just don't buy it, right? I don't buy it. I don't think he's a top 3 or 4 quarterback out of this draft. I don't even think he should be drafted in the top 10 here. So, the 49ers, if they pick him at number 3, it's going to be very disappointing to me, right? Just because, like what you mentioned, you give up all that and you get that kind of quarterback here who's not even a guarantee. So,
okay, let's back up. Let's put a little bit of GM here because, again, this is what's going to get us credibility. If we hit it right, if we hit it wrong, we'll lose credibility. I don't care. I like putting myself on the line.
Yeah.
Let's play a game of GM. You're the GM of the San Francisco 49ers, Mike Tang. Mike Tang, GM of the San Francisco 49ers. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I'm the GM, man. So
all right. So you hold the number. John Lynch was just fired. You're now taking over his spot right before the draft. You now hold the number 3 overall pick. Is it near impossible to not take a quarterback given the draft capital that John Lynch just yielded for the number 3 overall pick?
It's close to impossible, I would say. We're not giving up two first rounders here, and I think a third rounder for a non-quarterback. We're just not doing it here. So I'm not going to say it publicly as a GM, but I'm going to say it. We're drafting a quarterback no matter what here. So
no matter what,
matter what, it's no matter what. I think unless they're able to trade down and maybe get a couple first round picks in the top 10, then I don't see the pick being anything other than a quarterback at this point.
Good point. If I was GM, I think I would kind of take that stance because how can you give up all that draft capital and take a positional skill player like a tight end Kyle Pitts when you really didn't have to do that? For me, it comes down to what were you thinking, John Lynch? Like, what were you thinking if Mac Jones is really the guy? And look, it's a smokescreen, and I know people say, well, they don't need to have a smokescreen because they have the number 3 overall pick. That's why they moved up. No, because you need to put fool's gold in the teams ahead of you, thinking like, hey, we're high on this guy. You guys might want to take a double look on him because if you don't, we might take him, even though that may not really be the initial plan at hand. That's just the planting the seed in their brains, thinking like, hey, we really like this guy. We're not talking about Zach Wilson, even though Zach Wilson may be their guy.
Right.
It's hard to it's hard to go away from taking a quarterback because again, you're going to need a quarterback. But here we are. If I'm in your position, if I'm the GM right now, and John Lynch was just fired, I come in this position. You know what I would do? I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds really, really crazy. Like people are going to look at me and be like, "Beast, you're nuts." I'm going to take the best player on my board, and ultimately, I don't need a wide receiver because I have Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I have to give Deebo Samuel another look. He had a bad season. He was injury prone last year, but hey, when he's healthy, he shines. And if I add another wide receiver here, it's going to take shine away from him, less reps, less targets, and I don't get a full sample size for him to pull from and a bounce back year. So how can I leverage his contract negotiation moving forward with all these targets going away to this new first round pick that I'm about to get? So I'm going to shy away from him. I'm going to go. I know this sounds crazy, and I know we need to address the offensive line, but I'm going to go and say Kyle Pitts at number 3. If I was sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I know he gave up all the draft. Hey, it wasn't me, but I'm going to take the best player on my board. I'm going to take Kyle Pitts at number 3 because with him next to Kittle, people might call this a luxury pick. It is not. It is helping Jimmy Garoppolo open up the playbook. And what does Jimmy Garoppolo like to do? Make one reads. Well, who's that one read usually to? The tight end or the check down to the fullback or the running back coming out of the flat. We have Kyle Juszczyk there. So we can get Javonte Williams or Michael Carter in the second round at 43. So I know what we're doing here. Get Jimmy Garoppolo another offensive weapon, so where now you have dual threat tight ends, and you can kind of mirror what Mike Shanahan did in his early days in San Francisco. That's what I would do, because anytime you reach for a quarterback and they don't pan out, because based on past behavior, it's been proven that to be true. Why not just go ahead, play it safe, take the best player available, give Kyle Shanahan more assets to work with on the offense side of the football, teaming up with George Kittle to now you can no longer double team just George Kittle now down the teams, can you? Because you have Kyle Pitts, and obviously you're going to have to double team Kyle. You can't double team everyone. Someone's going to get open. I would take Kyle Pitts at number 3. I know that sounds crazy, but if I was going into the situation and John Lynch just got fired, and I'm like, look, I know we gave up all that draft capital, but don't blame me. We're always sticking to our board. I'm taking the best player on my board, and that's going to be Kyle Pitts. What would you say to that? If you're a fan and you listen to me say that, would you agree with that? Would you be like, dude, you're dumb? What would you say?
No, I think that fans, they want the best talent available, but in all reality, teams, they draft for need, right? And the 49ers have a need at quarterback, and they don't need, per se, another tight end just because they have an all-pro one in Kittle, right? So teams, like if they do get Kyle Pitts, right, who are they going to draft, for their second tier quarterback here, right? They already lost a first round pick on top of that. Their next pick would be what, in the second round, Ryan?
Yeah, 43.
43. So then they're going to count on drafting a quarterback, like Trask or Kellen Mond or the guy from Stanford, right? So I don't know, man. I wish they could get Kyle Pitts, to be honest with you, but then you're just kind of betting everything back on Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And Kyle Shanahan already has indicated that he does not think Jimmy G is going to bring this team to the Super Bowl, right? And that's why he made this trade in the first place.
Here's my theme with Kyle Pitts. So we have John David Vergara from the BEASTwriter family. Thank you for tuning in, John. How are you doing on this Tang Thursday? He says Kyle Pitts is iffy when it comes to run blocking, and Kyle Shanahan needs good run blockers for the run game. Why Juice got re-signed and Kittle best blocking tight end. That may be true, but you're not drafting Kyle Pitts to be a run blocker. Let's not get it twisted. We don't care about his run blocking grade. We don't care about that. We care about his red zone efficiency, being a big red zone target, taking the top off the defense, obviously pulling away the second level backer, opening up the middle for George Kittle to run and operate with. The Niners don't have that. With adding, let me tell you something, 22% of the time, Kyle Pitts was lined up at wide receiver. Majority of the time, I think it was the percentage was around 50% of the time, or 48% of the time, he was lined up with his hand in the dirt next to the offensive tackle in a traditional tight end set. The remaining percentage of offensive snaps, he was lined up in the slot. So you cannot tell me that more times than not, he's not going to be lined up wide. It's about a 50-50 split. So when you do that, you're not scheming the guy up to be a run blocker. So it doesn't matter. You're not fooling any defense anyways, because when the defense is on the field, they're not saying, hey, we got Kyle Pitts in front of us. We got to make sure that he doesn't stiff us in the run game. No, they're looking at him like, hey, Kyle Pitts is lined up on my side. I need to tell the safety, hey, help leverage your split to my side. I'll help on the outside leverage. You make sure you keep him inside. That's what you're doing. You're playing the spacing game here. Anytime Kyle Pitts is on the field and he pre-motion snaps and they do a lot of window shopping, you're going to create a huge mismatch on any given play when you have George Kittle and Kyle Pitts both lined up on opposite sides of the formation. You cannot strong side formation one side. You can't do it. At some point in time, the weak side is going to be the strong side is going to be the weak side. And ultimately, by shifting the coverage over or rotating back over, you're going to leave someone open. Yeah. And that's why I think Kyle Pitts does a lot more good than bad than simply reaching for a quarterback at number 3.
So you're not sold on a guy like Justin Fields then?
I'm not. And I said that's the bold prediction that my bold prediction is ultimately he will be drafted by the Niners. I already put this out there. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
If Zach Wilson is off the board, of course. Obviously, Zach Wilson is their number 1 choice, but if Zach Wilson is gone, Justin Fields is going to be their guy. I'm just not sold because of the fact that I think Kyle Pitts would just do wonders to this offensive scheme. You cannot tell me that if he had Kyle Pitts in this offense, the offense this year, if they're in a win now mode, win today mode, win this year Super Bowl mode, that he would not be a bigger impact than a rookie quarterback. When you already have Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have to do too much. You're just giving him more weapons to operate from. The question to me comes down to durability as it does with everything else. But at the end of the day, you're banking on him staying healthy. That's why he's there for one more year. So the regime is already knowing this. So that's why I believe Kyle Pitts, if I'm the GM of the San Francisco 49ers and John Lynch was fired, I would be like, you know what? I'm taking Kyle Pitts at 3. I just can't go away from it. He's a generational talent.
Yeah, but the person who's taken over John Lynch there, he's not the guy who made the trade in the first place, right? John Lynch was the guy who made the trade. So if John Lynch stays, and he will stay, right? He's the guy who gave up 2 first-round picks, and he's not going to answer to all of us. Okay, we gave up all these picks so we can draft a tight end, right? As much as we love Kyle Pitts and as much we think like he's the best talent after probably Trevor Lawrence, you say, out of your big board?
Dude, Trevor Lawrence is not even, he's not even the top quarterback on my big board. It's Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, okay.
Zach Wilson's my number 1 on my big board.
So you're going Kyle Pitts, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence.
No, Trevor Lawrence is not even in the top 5 on my big board.
So you're saying that Trevor Lawrence is going to be a huge bust, right?
No, I didn't say that. I have him ranked number 11 on my big board, though. My top 5 big board goes like this. It's Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and then I have Micah Parsons. I know people are not as high on Micah Parsons. I am. I like the critical factors. I think he's going to do wonder for a team like the Miami Dolphins, which I pointed out earlier. Kyle Pitts is definitely one of them, and Patrick Surtain, and obviously Najee Harris and Zach Wilson. So that rounds up the top 7 on my big board, and then Jalen Waddle, J.C. Horn, and then Penei Sewell. Then you have Trevor Lawrence, just a notch above Justin Fields. So yeah, I'm not as high as Trevor Lawrence as some of these other people are. I think he's a proverbial boom or bust prospect. Ultimately, he's going to struggle in Jacksonville. We're going to see that. And I just think Zach Wilson's critical factors as not only a pocket passer, but a dual threat quarterback, he just adds another dimension to the game that I think translates better to the NFL.
That's saying a lot to rank Lawrence, 11th behind all these guys here.
You got to take a stance, bro. And like I said, I'm not afraid to put my analysis on the spot. I mean, check my Twitter and YouTube. These people raise eyebrows. I don't care. Raise eyebrows. Look at my track record, man. It speaks for itself. I'm telling you right now, Trevor Lawrence, to me, do not be surprised if he doesn't go number 1. Don't be surprised if he does not go number 1. Everyone has him in a Sharpie that he's going number 1 in Jacksonville. How do you not know that Urban Meyer doesn't like Justin Fields better because of their ties to Iowa State? How do you know that he doesn't like Zach Wilson better? How come there's no one talking about the number 1 overall pick? Because everyone assumes that it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Just like back in 2018, I believe, when Baker Mayfield came out, isn't that the year he came out, if I'm not mistaken? Everyone thought that they were going to go Sam Darnold, and Cleveland Browns took who? Baker Mayfield.
Which was probably the right choice looking back, right?
I don't know. I like Sam Darnold. I like Sam Darnold.
You're a Sam Darnold fan, huh?
I am a huge Sam Darnold fan. I like Sam Darnold.
I know we didn't. I know me and you didn't brush up on it. Do you think they gave up too much for Sam Darnold? Just real quick.
No, absolutely not. I was on the
You
podcast.
don't think so?
No, they gave up just the amount. Dude, GM Scott Fitter is going to be one of the top 10 GMs in the NFL coming from the Seattle Seahawks. I know him very well. I've been studying him very well. Let me tell you something that he likes to do. He'll be aggressive, and he's a low risk, high reward type of guy. Something he learned from John Schneider. Now, let me tell you something that I liked he did. He didn't give up a first round pick. He had to give up the number 8 overall pick, but he did give up a 2 and a 4. Okay, cool. A 2 and a 4 for Sam Darnold with the critical factors and a lack of a supporting cast, and the Jets are done with him after what, 2 years, 3 years of football? Give me that any day of the week. I would take that any day of the week because there's no guarantee that that second round pick is going to turn out, and there's no guarantee that fourth round pick will turn out. Double down on that. You get Sam Darnold, who in this year's draft class would probably be my number 2 ranked quarterback coming out.
Saying a lot. You know, people are making similarities to the Ryan Tannehill trade that the Titans gave up for him. The Titans gave up a 4th and a 7th.
Yes.
They also received a 6th round pick too for Tannehill. But if you're saying that Darnold is going to be better than Tannehill, then I think the Panthers have won the trade, right? But they're banking on a lot for that to happen. I'm not saying
it's going to be better than Tannehill. I'm saying when you give up only a 2nd and 4th round pick for a guy who potentially can be a top 10, 15 quarterback in the NFL, you do that, you make that move every single day of the week. Because again, if you look back in history, how many of the 2nd round picks actually pan out, or draft picks in general?
Yeah.
And then you take it a step further and said, at the very least, you can look back at it and say it was a low risk, high reward. Because if you look at the valuation process and how we value draft capital, and I hate when people go off the valuation chart because every GM has their own valuation process and giving up the farm for a player that they really like. So the valuation chart means absolutely nothing. GM Scott Fitter hit it out of the ballpark by making this low risk, high reward move. I'm telling you right now, the pieces that are in place in Carolina with Taylor Moton on the right side, they got Cam Irving on the left side. They can possibly, sitting there at number 8, they can get the best offensive tackle in Penei Sewell if he's sitting there, should they see fit, or get a guy like Rashawn Slater. They also have DJ Moore, who's a top 10 wide receiver in my book from the Carolina Panthers. There's a lot of assets there. And obviously they have Robbie Anderson, the speedster outside the numbers. There's a lot of assets there for them to work with. Now, let's say Kyle Pitts. We're talking about Kyle Pitts. What if he goes to Carolina at number 8? Because we all know that Joe Brady, coming from LSU, like to use Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus Moss, over at LSU. What if he comes into play? You're giving Sam Darnold the offensive weapons he never had since entering the league in the NFL.
Yeah, he had lack of protection coming into the league, and he barely had the lead. You know, and when Darnold did have the lead, he did play pretty well, and he has a pretty good record there. But I do think the Panthers, they probably could have tried to give up a 3rd round pick or just a 2nd round pick, but they ended up giving up a 4th and a 6th there. And I think that's where people are saying they gave up way too much for Sam Darnold, who's not even a guarantee to be a top 15 quarterback in this league. So it's a gamble. You know, the Panthers made a gamble. They had to do it, right? So
yeah, that's right. Robert Watson for the BEASTwriter family, thank you so much for your generosity. He says, what's up, Mr. Ting and the Beast? Good vibes only. Yes, good vibes, good vibes. Thank you so much. Getting back to you. So I'm saying Sam Darnold, when it's all said and done in Carolina, I think he's going to revive his career and be a top 10 to 15 quarterback. I know that's saying a lot. They don't have the pieces in place for him to do that initially. In fact, after this year, he'll probably have he'll have a better stat line, but not much better. Next year is where you guys are really going to see, Beast was, I say 2 years. You got to look at the instant gratification versus long-term gains, as I always like to say. The long-term gain is 2 years out. 2 years out from today, Sam Darnold's going to be looking clean. I can tell you that right now. Because GM Scott Fitter is going to do everything in his power to solidify that offensive line, give Sam Darnold the offensive weapons to work with, where he can then move on from Teddy Bridgewater's contract after this year or via trade this year, get some assets, tradable assets in return, and really give Sam Darnold the supporting cast he needs to be successful in Joe Brady's offense. I'm telling you, Sam Darnold's going to be a good one.
It's just very unfortunate for Darnold, coming out of college, and he's put into this situation, and he can't really succeed, right, in his first couple years into the league here. And how many quarterbacks, when they get kind of messed up within a franchise, how often do they go to another team and actually, crush it, right? And at the quarterback position here. So let's hope he revitalizes his career with Carolina. I'm hoping so. But honestly, I'm not crossing my fingers that he will. I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to succeed in Carolina.
You don't.
I think they gave up too much. I think they gave up way too much for him here. And I think you got to compare his career path to a guy like Ryan Tannehill, like what we mentioned earlier, right? Is he going to be better than a guy like Tannehill? Let's hope so.
He could be. I think he could be.
Let's hope so. But Tannehill, he's like a top 12 quarterback in this league so far. You're saying that Sam Darnold is going to exceed being a top 12 quarterback.
But what did Ryan Tannehill have coming out of Texas A&M? He's a former wide receiver, converted to quarterback. He came out of that draft class, top 10 pick. Mm-hmm. He was on Hard Knocks. What was the one thing that
I think Ryan Tannehill was drafted in the same draft as Andrew Luck, correct? And RG3.
I believe
was that the same draft there? Yeah,
I believe so. I think he was drafted number 8 overall, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at that. Probably would be wrong, but if I get it right, it's going to be like, what the heck? We can look this up. So was it 2012?
I think it was 2012 or 2011. Okay.
So let's look it up. Maybe our BEASTwriter family can help us out here instead of us Google searching draft stuff. And what's wrong with Facebook, dude? What the heck? Mark Zuckerberg, you're screwing up the analytics here. It was 2012, and he was drafted number 8 overall, right? So, drafted number 8 overall out of Texas A&M, right? Who did he have coming out of that draft class? Like the supporting cast around him.
He was with what team at the time? He was with Miami.
Yeah, he was with the Miami Dolphins. I know we're going back like 10 years. You have to
going back a long time, man. The Dolphins they've been having a lot of wide receivers, and their supporting cast has been just coming in and out. So you got to give us a little reminder.
Look at what they had, right? They didn't have much, and I can remember this because I remember when they drafted him, I knew he was going to fail from the start. That was one of my draft analysis on him. I look back. Here we go. His rookie year, Devon Best. I mean, I remember this kid. I believe he came out of the University of Miami, speed demon, but nothing other than that. Armin Benz, Brian Hartline, Rashard Matthews, and Marlon Moore. Cool story. Marlon Moore was the starting wide receiver with the 49ers for that one game, and that was it. That was their wide receivers. Nobody. Yeah. They're nobody. Look at their offensive line. Patrick Brown, Nate Garner, Richie Incognito, he was good. John Jerry, Jonathan Martin, really? They did have Mike Pouncey, but John Samuda and Will Yeatman. Cool story. Tight ends, Michael Agnew, Anthony Fasano, Jerome Mastrod, and Kyle Miller. Nobody. Do you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? I'm telling you, man.
What I'm saying is I don't think Tannehill succeeded right out of college with the Miami Dolphins, but he did make a pretty damn good career out of himself with the Tennessee Titans. And
right.
Sam Darnold, we're saying that he's going to kind of match what Tannehill is doing with the Titans right now, right? And that's a lot to say because Sam Darnold hasn't really shown too much so far.
But that as a GM, not saying we are GMs, but that's what gives us. See, that's the thing that I like to do. I like to put myself on the line, and when I get it right, I get it right. Yeah. When I get it wrong, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'm telling you, if I'm going to take a stance and I like putting my balls on the line, I don't care. I'm telling you right now, Sam Darnold's going to look clean in 2 years' time. People can look back at us on April 8th, 2021, and be like, Ryan Sakamoto BEASTwriter was right or he was wrong.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm saying right now, putting my credibility, part of my credibility on the line. I'm not wrong very often, but hey, I will say this. I will say Sam Darnold's going to have a revived career, and he's going to have a career similar to Ryan Tannehill in the sense that he's going to have a bounce back year with a new scenery, with a new offense, with a new offensive coordinator. I think that's going to do wonders for him. Now watch him fail and me be wrong, but we just never know. So That's
We're
why I
just
like having,
projecting here. We're always just projecting, like
and
what you
that's our
always
job.
talk about.
That's
Yeah.
our jobs. Our jobs is to project and predict. It's the player's job to perform. If
Yeah.
you don't want to take that stance, then this job may not be for you. I'm not talking about you specifically, but for people who want to come into it, you have to do this. You have to put your credibility on. You have to. Otherwise, what's the point of people following you? Because everybody wants to be in the know before they know, right? And that's why I always say in here, be in the know before they know. Because again, if you have the balls to put yourself on the line and stick to your guns, then basically, again, this is real time. We don't know. We're playing a game of, God here. No one's God. No one's perfect. But it is interesting to say, when you come on the show or when I have people on the show, I'm like, take a stance. What would you do? Because we can talk about different theories and all like that. That's great. But I want to put yourself in the GM's perspective in real time. Everybody can talk about stuff in hindsight, but in real time, as we're having these conversations, because GM Scott Fitter is having this conversation before he went ahead and made this deal with his scouting department.
Yeah.
What exactly makes you believe that Sam Darnold's not gonna pan out, or that he will pan out? I just think Sam Darnold has a critical factors. I don't know. That's just me. But time will tell. I mean, I could be wrong. Shoot, you could be right.
Yeah. We don't know, right? We're just projecting, and that's the best that we can do here. So,
all right, Malik Young, if you want Pitts, you would have to move up because Atlanta might get him. I don't think Atlanta's going to get him at number 4 and now watch them get. Yeah, they could actually if they say put at 4, but they're going to ultimately trade back. All right. Sanjo Sunny says, what's good, fellas? What is going on, Sanjo Sunny? How are you doing? 49ers Ultimate Report. John J says, it's so funny that Ryan Tannehill is still in the league over Luck and RG3. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting, right? Like Tannehill is going to turn out to be the best quarterback out of that draft. Is there anyone else left out of that 2011 draft?
Andrew Luck, when he was playing and he didn't retire, he would have been the best. I would say Andrew Luck is still the best over Tannehill. Well,
people at the time were saying that RG3 is going to exceed Andrew Luck, and I always told them, no, Luck was the real deal coming out of Stanford.
Yeah,
he was the real deal.
Yeah,
it's just too bad, man.
Yeah, I thought people who said that were ridiculous. I was like, no, you guys don't know it. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay quiet. I always say time will tell.
Time will always tell.
And then we come back to it, and they either unfollow me because I'm like, I retweet what they tweeted, and they I'm not calling you out, but you're the one calling me out. I'm just saying, what are your thoughts now? What are your thoughts now? That's all you gotta say. Big C says Sam Darnold is trash. Okay. So he thinks Sam Darnold is trash. Interesting. And why is he trash? Please tell me why he's trash. I would like to know more than you just using a emoji on why he's trash. Because at the end of the day, he didn't look the strongest in New York. But to call him trash, what exactly were you looking for to call him and make that bold statement? Because at the end of the day, are you looking at it on a snap-by-snap basis? Are you looking at the supporting cast? Was it really the wide receivers' opportunity or job to get open on a certain route? Did he come off his stem improperly, forcing the ball in a place where it should have been thrown, but yet the wide receiver and the quarterback timing was off? There's a lot of different factors. So in order to call a quarterback trash, there's a lot of factors in making that assumption.
We have to wonder if Sam Darnold was drafted within a good team and he was able to not play right away. I think Sam Darnold would be crushing it in year 3, year 4 here. And if he got to kind of learn, behind a tier 1 starter, so it's just unfortunate the type of situation he was put into.
Right. Okay. Cardboard King says Russell Wilson was in that draft class, but we're talking about first round picks. We're talking about first round pick.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, I believe, was a 3rd round pick, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wasn't he a 3rd round pick? I don't know. I think it was a 3rd round pick.
He was a 3rd round pick out of Wisconsin, right?
Yes. Thank you. If we get it wrong, they're gonna call for our throats.
Okay.
The BEASTwriter family is gonna be like, "Ah, you're wrong." No, they're always nice about it, and they always correct us. Here in the BEASTwriter family, it's all love. Okay, Ronald Blair is re-signing with the 49ers. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's a good
Ronald
move.
Blair, good friend of mine.
Is that confirmed?
I don't know. We're doing a live stream. Is this confirmed, guys? Can the BEASTwriter family just confirm this, please?
Yeah.
What's up, G? Can you confirm this? And some of you other guys, can you guys confirm this? If it's true, what are your thoughts on that? Let's just say it's true.
I think it's a good move, man. I think Robert Blair was looking in the market, right? So he was looking for more cash than what the Niners were offering, right?
I don't know.
So
He was injured, man. He's coming off a torn ACL. I don't think he was looking for cash. I think he was just looking for
looking for any team to re-sign.
He was just looking for an opportunity because coming off a torn ACL,
yeah,
and then didn't even play last year, had a setback. It was really unfortunate for him because he was hoping that he would come back at some point at the midway point throughout the season. They just finally said, it's probably easier just to shut it down and recoup for 2021.
right.
So it really hurt his evaluation process because teams who look at that say you haven't really played in a year and a half. What exactly are we getting in return? So ultimately, the Niners are taking a flyer on him. I think as of right now, he's a camp body. He's going to be fighting for a 53-man roster, depending on how they play this draft.
So we're not hoping that he's going to make a big contribution for the team. Basically, that's the outlook of it, right? Like he's just adding to depth. He's just adding to our depth chart. And if he gets on the field and produces, then we're good, right? But if he doesn't, who cares?
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I think Ronald Blair, when healthy, is one of the most versatile. He's definitely the strongest player on the football team. Like,
yeah,
trust me on that. We've had talks and we talk about working out and stuff, and this guy knows what he's talking about. I test a lot of these players to see what they know, and a lot of them don't know. They just like, what do you do for? It's like, how do you not know this, dude?
Yeah,
Ronald Blair gets it. He is very strong at the point of attack, not just in the weight room, but I mean, you look at what he did, right? Coming from Chip Kelly's, being the head coach back in what was it, 2016. I did a lot of research on Ronald Blair. That's when actually I became good friends with Ronald Blair. Actually gave him the nickname Optimus Prime because he could learn so many different positions. When he was drafted by GM Trent Baalke called him and labeled him the steal of the draft, his favorite player in that draft class. Piggybacking on that, I'm going to take it a step further. He also said that, I asked him, I was like, well, where is Ronald Blair going to play? Because, you look at his functional strength that converts. So he's like, during that time, during the 34 base defense, we might play him at nose tackle, and then we're going to move him to defensive end. Well, what happened was when Chip Kelly came into play, then they tried to hit him with body analysis, so he had to drop weight, and they actually tried to convert him to a 3-4 outside linebacker. Imagine being a 3-4 nose tackle. Like, I mean, you're talking 300 plus pounds, bro. Right?
Yeah.
And then changing your body to a 3-4 outside linebacker, edge rusher in the 275 range, 265, 270. I mean, that's crazy.
I think people underestimate how difficult it is to change your weight level to play a certain position there, right? So he had to actually lose weight, right? And he had to gain like quickness,
right?
So that's tough to do. Would you say it's easier to gain weight, to just start gaining weight and maintaining that?
There's hold on, let me just get back to this guy, James Ladley. Says, I don't know why these guys think they know Shanahan's mind. Well, one, because I was in the 49ers media and I know Shanahan personally, and I know people inside the organization. So you can have that laughing emoji, and then I'll just put it back on you with haha. The no doubt knows the plan, depending on who is still at it. That second part makes no sense. Swipe left, bro. Anyways, getting back to your question. What? I just put it back on them. Do you want to come at me with fire? I'm gonna spit back. That's not how we do things in the BEASTwriter family. So if you try to hold weight with your little like James Ladley little avatar here and these little funny emojis, well, I'm gonna spit it back with you with facts. It's factual information. It's nothing I'm hiding from. Call it what it is. I don't care. Let's get back on point. We were talking about, what were we talking about? We were talking about something before.
We were talking about a couple of things. We were talking about Blair just now, and then we were talking about Sam Darnold. Right. And we were all talking about the Tannehill draft too.
Okay. So going back to let's talk about Ronald Blair.
Okay.
I think he's a player who is more than just a camp body. I think they're hoping that he's going to regain his 2018 form. Ultimately, do I think that's going to happen? It all depends, on him coming back and returning from injury. Here we go. I remember what we're talking about. We're talking about fluctuating weight.
Yes.
Okay. Before we were really interrupted. let me talk to you. There's 3 types of body types. One, there's called an ectomorph. There's a second body type called an endomorph, and then a mesomorph. Okay, those 3 body types means everybody is one of those 3, or a combination of a few. Okay, for me, I'm more of an ectomorph, where it's it's someone who like puts on weight, who has a hard time putting on weight. And endomorph is someone. So endomorph and ectomorph. There is another type where it's easy to put on weight but not gain muscle. Like you can put on weight really fast, but then it's hard to cut down and shred it to muscle. And then you have a mesomorph where it's just, it's just hard to do anything. Like, so when you're an ectomorph, endomorph, or a mesomorph, you really have to decipher between the 3, which one is your body type, and then take it a step further, peeling back layers of the onion, and say, okay, well, let's not look at it for what it's worth and say body fat percentage, right? That's what it always comes down to. People put too much stock on how much a person weighs. That's stupid. That's stupid. Like, but anyone who says that to me, I look at them and be like, dude, you do not know fitness. The first thing they say, oh, what's your weight at? It's like, no, that's the wrong question. It's what's your body fat percentage at? Well, I don't know. How do you look at that? Body fat percentage means so much more because at the end of the day, that's what you test everything off of. It's not how much you weigh. I mean, Mike, you're taller than me. How tall are you?
Like 5'8", 5'9".
Okay, you're very tall compared to me. Okay. So I'm 5'5", and you weigh how much? Roughly
like 155.
Okay, I weigh about 152, and I'm 5'5".
Yeah.
So if you were to go by weight, people would just look at a 5'5", 152-pound guy and be like, "Beast, you're fat." Right?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
if you're doing the blind test, 5'5", 152, Beast, you're fat. No. That's why I think it's really interesting when I see people put out these and a lot of these guys who put out these, body analysis numbers and say, oh, he needs to add 25 pounds, he has 30 pounds, or he needs to lose weight. It's like, dude, have you even been in the weight room? Do you even know how it works? It doesn't work like that. And I try to say it without offending people, but at the end of the day, it's like you're putting out false information to these people when they really don't know what to look for. They're counting on you for you to get it right. And that's why it's interesting. It just really irritates me when people try to put a stock on someone's number on what their weight should be when they have no what credentials and what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's absolutely correct. Body fat percentage is the real indicator, to be honest with you, here. And I think, those 3 body types that you mentioned, I think a lot of people fall into that middle one.
Yeah.
That middle one there. And I remember people always asking you, how do I get a 6-pack, right? How come I'm doing all these ab crunches and I can't see results, and I'm doing everything? And then I remember one thing you always mentioned was sometimes it's just freaking genetics, right? That you can't, get that. So
yeah, it's a lot of it is genetics, man. And I don't know what else to say, because if you see what I eat, and Mike, you know what I eat. I don't post everything on Instagram, but for those who don't know, like, I eat a lot. I'll go to In-N-Out, I'll get a 4x4 and a 2x2, extra toasted bun, well done fries, no salt on the patties, and then I'll get a strawberry shake, and I'll pound that, and I'll go back, eat that, and I'll go in the drive-thru, eat that, and then if I feel like I need seconds, I'll come back around. People will call me a fat ass for it. I'm being serious. And they think I'm showing off or whatever, but it's just like, that's how my body works. Like, I just operate off. Like last night, I didn't post on Instagram. If you go on my Instagram stories, I didn't post anything. I had a 2x2, no salt, extra toasted bun, everything, fried extra well. And then I went back in line. And I got 2 4x4s and I scuffed that down.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to post it because then people will be like, oh, you're showing off, or oh, you're on steroids, dude. That's okay. First of all, if I was on steroids, I'd be dead by now, because at the end of the day, you can't be eating that kind of food. Anyone who knows that and still maintain this shit. So I think that's an interesting point. But anyways, it's all how your body metabolizes food too. The types of food when you eat these foods. Like, I had it as a post-workout meal. And that's what you're supposed to do. Your pre-workout meal and your post-workout meal right after you work out is when you time sensitive your food out. And that's why it's very important that nutrition plays a role, right? Tom Brady talks about this. Tom Brady is how old? How old's Tom Brady? 40 something?
He's like 43.
Gosh, he's old. So he's older. So Tom Brady for the NFL being, that's old for the NFL. Yeah. But look at the shape he's in. He can outrun probably 25-year-olds. I'm serious. It's because of his diet, though, right?
Yeah.
In his workout routine. So that's why I think it's interesting. And again, great point that you point out on how to get a six pack and stuff, because not everyone can get that. But at the end of the day, there's no bulletproof pill that you can take. It comes with hard work, but at the end of the day, you got to know exactly how to train your body in order to get ready for like the NFL Combine, right? Like I train players for the NFL Combine in their pro days. And to get them ready, I look at them, I take their body fat percentage. We do a lot of things. I handle their nutrition, tell them what foods to eat, when to eat these meals based on their lifestyle, right? If you wake up at 6 a.m., I can't tell you to pound 2 meals within a 10-hour period, back to back to back to back to back, and then hopefully you'll be in bed by 10:30. That's just not how it works. It's based on your lifestyle. So depending on your lifestyle is when I'm going to appropriate these foods into your body throughout the day. That's the difference between someone who eats well and someone who doesn't know what to eat at all.
Yeah.
Because like us right now, we're sitting here at 3:30 p.m. If you're hungry, do you weigh your food?
Well, I have a scale.
Okay, but I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But like, if you are
I personally don't weigh my food,
okay,
but then I know successful people who do weigh their food, and it works for them.
It works because at the end of the day, how do you know how much you're eating?
Yeah,
you don't.
You don't.
A lot of people. This is the common mistake, and we're talking about fitness, and it ties into football here. Here's the thing: people eat only to when they get full. Like when you're full, that's when you stop eating. When you're full, like, oh, I'm full, I'm gonna be in food coma. Like if we went out to like Santana Row and we're at Yard House or something, we're scuffing down the sliders, bro, and
those freaking onion ring, those tall onion rings,
right? We'd be like, oh, dude, you want another beer? Oh no, man. Yeah, let's get one more, man. Let's wash it down. Let's do it. Let's get another round.
You're supposed to be like 70% full, 70% full,
and
then the rest of that 30%, you better have some room,
Yes.
And then go to sleep 2 or 3 hours later.
Exactly. No, it's true. That's why. So it's a great thing that we point this out, man, because I think not a lot of people understand that. And the basics of it. Everyone knows the basics of it. But that's why I think I bring a competitive advantage in the sense that I'm in it every single day. I mean, I haven't missed a work. I'm looking at my calendar over here, and I haven't missed a workout in almost a month and a half. Like even on a rest day, there is really no rest day. So for me to have this look, that's what it takes. You have to put in the work. Like you just have to put in the work to have this kind of look or whatever the look that you're trying to attain. Whether it's losing body fat, whether it's losing gaining muscle.
Right.
I get these questions all the time. And again, they ask, oh, every day at the gym, dude, I'm probably today. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you eating? If I told them, hey, I'm pounding In-N-Out burgers every single day, they're going to look at me like I'm freaking crazy. And then here's another thing. I eat Rice Krispie treats with almond butter during my workouts and Pop-Tarts and Kit Kat. I just had a Twix before hopping on the show. People are going to look at this and be like, how is that even possible?
Right.
Because everything, there's a science behind it. Like I eat these foods before I work out. So now it's not turning into fat. It's actually helping me because I'll be glycogen depleted. So it's a fast acting carb. It's a simple carb, not a complex carb. And it's going to help me with my gains during my workout. So everything's time sensitive out. So that's why I think it's important. But we got to go to In-N-Out and Yard House one of these days.
Dude, I'm all about that In-N-Out life, though, man. That 2x2 or that 4x4, dude. We got to go get it, man. After we get vaccinated, we'll go to In-N-Out and we'll scarf that down, man.
Check this out, dude. This is my thing, and I did it at the when I was working the 49ers. We go to Krispy Kreme, right? And we get 2 donuts, and then we get a 4x4, and we smash it in between that, and then we eat it. We'll have a cardiac arrest. I know that we'll both be like holding each other's hands, like, oh my god, like I'm gonna die. But at the end of the day, man, we can pull through. I think it's fun. I think we should do that on the YouTube channel or something. I think people would watch that. They'd be like,
I think so too.
Look at these 2 idiots for Tank Thursday. Maybe we'll go there. We'll actually have a videographer. Maybe we'll have Drex come on the show, and Drex can film everything. For those who don't know my man Drex Lee is killing it right now. Drex Lee, what do you think of Drex Lee? Drex Lee's the man, huh?
Drex is the man. If you need someone to tape anything, video record anything, he's the man. So
yeah, go to my man Drex Lee. All right. I don't know how much more time you have, but
maybe a question or two, and then got it.
Oh, Tony Nagatani, thank you so much for your generosity here in the BEASTwriter family. He says, all right, gents, for real question here. What do you prefer, noodles or rice? # Team Noodles. Is this a racist question? No, because he's Japanese. He's asking this question Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's a
Noodles.
tough one, man. You know, that's like when someone asks, you know, a parent, which kid do you love better? You know, you can't pinpoint one, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we all grew up eating both, right? I ended up eating rice all the time as a kid,
Bro, I
but
have a bag of rice right here, dude. A 50-pound bag of right here. I'm not joking.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
sitting there. I love both, dude. I don't know. Does fried rice count? Because fried rice is pretty bomb too,
Fried
bro.
rice does count. Do you think rice is more versatile than noodles in terms of like what you can like
Okay,
mix
okay.
it with?
So would ube count? Well, not well. Ube is a plant. Okay, so how about like mochi? Would mochi count? Because I love mochi.
Mochi. I
Like
don't
mochi,
know if that really counts.
that's rice. It's
That is
pounded rice.
rice.
It's
That
it's
yeah,
rice pounded.
and if we're talking about versatility in food, right? You got to add mochi with rice. So
Okay, so what would you say? Noodles? So noodles would be like udon,
like udon, ramen
ramen.
noodles, you know, the pho noodles, the white
Oh
noodles.
my gosh. Especially if we're hungover or something,
Yeah.
bro. Okay, what would you like? What would you like?
I think
Go.
me personally, I would prefer noodles at this point
Yeah, I
of my
agree with you.
life. Yeah.
I agree with you. Well, because noodles could be like pasta too. It doesn't have to be Asian, right? It could be pasta,
No,
right?
yeah, it could be pasta. Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
Italian food, so I would say noodles.
Yeah,
That's a hey, we're getting a lot of in and out questions. Look at this. Look at this. Mariah says
dude.
you are making me want to eat in and out now. Aaron Singh says stop by Boss Man Pizza. This is his pizzeria. We should stop by his place, dude. Mike.
Okay.
He's part
Tang
of the BEASTwriter family.
Thursdays.
Traditional vegan or Indian style pizza, wings and more on me. Oh, okay.
All right. All right.
We might take you up on that offer, and we'll do a BEASTwriter family shout out to you, and maybe we can do like a live stream over there.
Yeah.
Aaron Singh said he'd be open to it, so you just got to make it happen. Don, thank you so much, Aaron. I appreciate it. Double Lovato, double Lovato. Don Lovato says double protein animal style is the best. What do you think about that?
I personally don't get protein style. No, I don't get protein style. I like the bun. You know,
Okay. You like buns. So you like buns. You're a bun guy. You're a
I'm a
bun
bun
guy.
guy, man. I like the carbs. You know.
All
Do
right.
you get it? And do you get it animal style? Do you get it
No.
protein style or animal style?
No, I just get straight up. So basically, a girl I used to date, she's like, hey, why don't you try this? Because she's like, you always go to In-N-Out, and she's like, once you get extra toasted bun, no salt on the pads from my other friend, but she's like extra toasted bun and well done fries. I'm like, dude, okay, I'm gonna try this out, and I tried it. I was like, damn, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like extra well done fries? Like it's just, I didn't even know they did that. If I knew they did that, because I saw my friends have it, I was like, what is that? Like it's well done fries. Like,
Have you been including the fries with your In-N-Out meals lately, or do you just go with the straight up burgers and just go with that?
No, I always because every time the smell comes into your car when you roll down your window, you're gonna want the fries.
Yeah.
So I always get the fries.
You always get the fries too. Okay. Okay.
You do too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a must, you know?
Okay. So yeah, I know. I'm a fatty dude. I don't know, man. What's up? G says do a mukbang. I do mukbangs. It's on my Instagram stories, but I will convert some on YouTube. Arun Singh says, oh, we have another customer, Cardboard King. This is for you. Or both of us. What are both of your predictions for what the Niners do at 3? Who are they going with?
Whew. That's gonna be a tough one. You know, I'm gonna throw it out there. I think I want them to pick Justin Fields, but I have a feeling they're gonna fall in love with Trey Lance
I thought you were
somehow.
going to say fall in love with Ryan Sakamoto. Okay. Okay.
I think they're gonna fall in love with Trey Lance, and I'm gonna go with that pick. They're going with Trey Lance at number 3.
I like it. I think you might be right, dude. Ultimately, I think if Zach Wilson's off the board, I think it's gonna. I said Justin Fields. I had to stick with it. I'm not gonna waver from that. Unless obviously things change from now, like draft position or something. But
right.
Justin Fields, to me, I think is their guy. I don't think you trade up in the top 3, even for a guy like Trey Lance, because ultimately, I'm not sold that the Falcons were even considering Trey Lance at 4. I know there's been reports about it, but it could be
I don't
smoke.
think so. Yeah.
I don't think so either. And then you look down the line, the Bengals at 5 aren't going to take Trey Lance because they have Joe Burrow there. And then at 6, they have Tua Tagovailoa. They're not going to take Trey Lance at 6. That's why they traded back to 12. They hold number 6, but then they traded from 3 to 12, so they're not high on Trey Lance. And then moved back up to 6. They're not going to take because they have Tua Tagovailoa. Detroit Lions are not going to take a quarterback. They have too much money invested in Jared Goff. Yeah. And Brad Holmes was the guy in charge of making that trading up the farm for Jared Goff for moving up 15 spots to number 1 to get him. So they're not going to move off their spot on quarterback at number 7. So you're sitting there at number 8. That would be the spot for Trey Lance with the Carolina Panthers. But they got Sam Darnold. So you move him off the spot.
So he could slip even further, right?
So Denver Broncos would be the most logical choice based on draft position, based on my analytics, is where Trey Lance would fall if he was to come off the board, or Mac Jones. But Mac Jones is supposedly supposed to go to number 3 this San Francisco. I'm not buying it, dude. I don't know. Do you put too much stock in his body, though? Does that concern you? Honestly, just be honest. Does that concern you at all? That Mac Jones's body is kind of like a dad bod.
I think so. I think it's pretty concerning compared to the other quarterbacks in that draft class. Just because like the prototypical type of quarterback these days, they're mobile, right?
Right. And
they can move around the pocket. And it's not saying that Mac Jones is not quick enough to get away from pressure, but when you need him to break it down, to go, do something else, I don't know if he's able to do that, right? So that's just my take.
No, that's an interesting point. For me, I mean, I would be biased if I said I didn't look at it and said, "Oh man, that sucks." Like you can't look at that. But something in my head always told me, game film is always number 1, because if you were blind and all you heard was the audio of these players on their plays, Mac Jones in your head would be like, "Wow, this guy's a Hall of Fame quarterback." But when you open your eyes, you're like, "Damn, this guy is a Hall of Fame dad bod."
Right. So you're saying the eye test at least reveals a little bit, right, about someone's future success in a way. Yeah.
Is that vain? I mean, are we being vain here to think that?
Is that being too superficial?
Yes.
I think that's like the phrase, right? Are we being too superficial?
Yeah.
And we're discounting Mac Jones already before he's even stepped into an NFL game.
Is it okay for us to think like that, though?
I don't think so. I just think that that's our natural instinct, right?
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like when we meet someone, you either like them or you don't like them, or you think they're dangerous or they're not dangerous, right?
Who's dangerous? Who's
just dangerous,
saying, man? I like you. All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on the show. Everyone follow my man, Mike Tang. Mike Tang, he's part of the MJ Sportscast with, of course, Jerry Yang for Yang Mondays. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show once again. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, man. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.
Take it easy, buddy. All right. So we are here live. We're still hopping on the stream. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay on for another 15, 20 minutes. You guys have questions. I'm just going to go ahead and ask those questions, answer those questions. Nico Wilson from the BEASTwriter family says, does it make sense of going for Mac Jones? And again, you guys can call in just like Mike Tang did. Just call in. Just go here in that web browser, open it up, pop in here, and talk to the Beast. You know I'm here for you guys. All right. Does it make sense of going for Mac Jones when we were just in the run for Watson? I think that's why we moved up in the draft, is because we couldn't get Watson because of his issues. I don't think so. I honestly think the guy was Mac Jones all along. If that's the case, even though I think it's a smokescreen, if reports are coming out that they knew that Mac Jones was the guy and he ultimately ends up being the pick, I don't think they trade up number 3 not knowing that was their guy. Whoever that is, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, I don't care. Whoever that guy, Zach Wilson, don't matter. Gosh, it's interesting. This is really interesting. Cardboard King says you will get one redo the week of the draft on who you think the Niners are going with. Just needed a baseline. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Mariah Chris says, great show, fellas. We have John J coming in here. John J, are you ready to hop in the show, bro? All right. He says, give me a thumbs up. Dude, can you hear me?
I see. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I think we're good, dude. How are you? How are you, my man?
I'm good.
What's up with you, man? Talk to me.
And see, before we talk football, I want to get to this, in and
out.
About fitness and workout.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Yeah, because I'm not an expert, but I got to know over the summer about 3-4 years ago this guy from DC who was a trainer who would work out with like semi-professional basketball players.
Okay.
And also he was telling me stories about people who would pay him money to say, hey, I want a six pack, I want muscles. And he would say the same thing, it's not going to be easy. You can't be eating cheeseburgers and just laying on your couch and watching TV and not work out. And he said, oh, what about, these supplements and all that stuff? He said, no, it's hard work. Just like anything, it's hard work. And, when someone says, oh, I'm going to take the shortcuts. So it's kind of funny how people want everybody to look, a certain way. But at the end of the day, it's true, my family, we're a little bit, heavy people, but, I do my best to work out, I try to eat the best I can. Occasionally, I get a cheeseburger or pizza.
Bro, cheeseburgers are delicious.
Yeah.
Bro, live life. I don't judge, dude. Freaking I telling you, bro, I eat bad food bro. I'm seriously, I'm gonna go after this show, go work out, and after I was considering getting a large amount of Mike's Pizza, watching Home Alone. Every time I watch Home Alone, I think the cheese pizza that Macaulay Culkin was eating. I like watching that as I'm eating, living vicariously through him in that show. I'm not joking. I legit was gonna do that. Who cares? It's fine. It's fine. But I get what you're saying. Hard work does pay off. Yes. But obviously, supplements do play a role. It's not a huge part of it. I think work ethic is probably 95% of it. But supplements and nutrition nutrition is actually a big part of it too. So I would say 65% hard work. And then I think the 35% is obviously nutrition and supplements and so forth. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, I'm in this, man. I compete for a living. I mean, outside of doing this as my 9 to 5, I actually compete in the bodybuilding world. I mean, I'm sponsored by Evogen. I'm an Evogen athlete, right? So that's like the Phil Jackson of bodybuilding, right? It's like the Nike. So I'm very, very honored to be part of Team Evogen. And, Hani pushes us, man. Hani Rambod pushes us. And, we have a standard to obtain. He's very, disciplined, dedicated, and not everything that we have to do. And we do a really good job at that. So I think it's funny when people try to downplay other people because of like, whatever the case, like the stuff I get. I don't know if you saw my drop down comments on one of the posts. Some guy was like, oh, why don't you be more professional and wear a t-shirt instead of going sleeveless? I'm like, that's all you got from the podcast was what I was wearing instead of like actually engaging. And it's like, you call yourself a beast. And then he was just like, he's basically just trolling. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, ultimately I just blocked him, but I was just like, dude, this guy's ridiculous. Like he had no business being in here in the first place. He just wanted to like prove his point. He was worried about what I was wearing. Like, if for you to be so insecure about what I'm wearing, then why are you even on the live stream? And why are you in the channel in the first place? But no, there's people out there, and like getting back to what you're saying. Okay, going back on topic, nutrition does play a role. I think a lot of people don't understand that, but nutrition does play a role. So, like to say you cannot eat certain foods, I would be doing you a disservice. Because what if you had a hamburger or a cheeseburger every single day and you lost weight? No, I'm being serious. Like, what if I said, hey, John Jay, I want you to go to McDonald's, download the McDonald's app, and go get a quarter pounder with cheese, and just get the Big Mac sauce. Don't get any other condiments, and tell me how you do eat that, and as part of one of your meals. And what if you lost weight, dude?
Yeah, like if a cheeseburger, if I eat one every day and it helps me lose weight.
Yeah,
of course I'm going to eat it, but there's a thing that a friend of mine told me. He eats, like unhealthy. He has a good body, but he works out. Like he goes to the gym, not every day, but he works out and he's able. And he tells me, he's like, it's so funny how I see these people. They eat the same way that I eat. I eat pizza, hamburgers, pasta, right. Things that doctors say you're not supposed to. But for some reason, I work out, and basically, you can eat that. It just depends. Are you just eating it and being lazy and not doing nothing? Because it is true. Like I had a coach. He was a coach, a football coach, and he would tell us, "Hey, you can eat chicken nuggets if you like chicken nuggets, but make sure you have it with ketchup. And my friend had a big mouth, and he was saying, hey, that's not eating healthy, coach. He says, well, the ketchup helps when you're eating that food for dietary, all that digestive stuff. And then he didn't really think about it. So, he was teaching us, knowledge.
Yeah.
So, like I've been around, like fitness people, sports people, they tell me the same thing. The difference is that not everybody is working out. They're not playing sports. That's why, like one funny athlete who I would always point to is Chad Johnson. He would go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
I can eat this stuff, and he's eating it at practice, and his teammates are making fun of him.
Yeah.
But he was working out. He was practicing, and so that's basically, just to simplify it, you can eat what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be eating healthy food because you love healthy food, that's good. But if you're just going to be like, people that I know who are like more heavier than me, oh man, why am I so fat? I say, hey, you're eating the junk food. Do you exercise? Oh, I don't want to. It's too hard. So, that's the thing about fitness. It's hard to understand it.
Yeah. No, go ahead, finish.
Yeah. So basically, like, I don't work out every day, but I do the best I can. I don't, lift, how you do on your videos that you post up, but I do the best I can, but I'm human, so I do eat pizza. I don't put like extra cheese and a lot of, toppings on it. I keep it as simple as possible, but I know if I eat like that, like pizza every single day and not, not work out, I'm going to gain like 50, 70 pounds in a short amount of time. And then also, I studied, like fitness, at school, and like muscle and fat that are the same. There's
muscle weighs more than fat.
There's that thing. So basically that's just to simplify it. Yeah.
And it goes down to this, right? Like metabolism is such a huge part. They have a thing called MBR, right? Your metabolic rate, right? What your metabolic rate is, like when people work out, it's called you have to make sure that your heart rate's in the fat burning zone. So that's determined, you can use different formulas or whatever, but typically you want your heart rate in a fat burning zone. So you're burning fat. So what people tend to do when they work out is, if you're walking, something is better than nothing, but I strongly encourage you to get go on the cardio, or if you don't have a gym membership, at least go on a light jog. Right? Jog it's hard. Trust me. Cardio sucks for everyone, including me. I hate it, dude. I hate cardio, but I have to do it. So when I do my cardio, and it gets tiring, dude, because sometimes I'm on there for 70 minutes, 80 minutes, and burning 1,000 calories. I'm known to burn 1,000 calories in under an hour. So after that, then I can indulge in whatever I want because it won't turn into fat. But getting back to my point is that the point of it is like, oh, how cool you are. You can burn so many 1,000 calories. The point is you always want to be in a fat burning zone, because if you're in a fat burning zone, that means that you're burning fat and you're not burning the glycogen, the storage form of carbohydrate. You're burning the fat source as a source of energy. Ultimately, that's what we want. People think that carbs make you fat. Carbs do not make you fat. I hate that. I hate when people say, oh, well, carbs make you fat. Like you see these people that just the shirt that says, can't eat carbs or whatever, like no carbs, no gains or something like that. It's like, what are you talking about? I eat carbs all the time. Look at me. Like that's totally like, there's the difference between complex carbs and simple carbs, like oatmeal, right? Like here, let me tell you what I'm eating. So this is what I eat. All right. So this is oatmeal, old fashioned oatmeal. All right. So this is what you eat. I legit, people think I'm joking. Like, no, I'm not joking. This is what it takes. Like, this is a half cup serving. All right. So what I do is I just come in here, boom, a half cup, and I get 2 of these. So that's 1 cup. You measure your food, and then you can kind of time sensitive everything out, because you need to know how many calories are coming in before how many calories you're expending. So that way you're being a caloric deficit. See, it all comes down to math. I can guarantee you a lot of these NFL players do not do this. I know this for a fact. I've been inside the locker room. I'm friends with them. I've been working with the NFL media for the better half of the last 10 years. They don't do this stuff. They don't. You ever look on the NFL coaching staffs around the NFL? You can Google search everything. How many of them actually have nutritionists who actually calculate their food and moderate their intake based on their current lifestyle? Very few, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I just say, you know, like it's really cool to kind of put things in perspective, because when you look at guys like Mac Jones and you say, well, why does this guy have a dad bod? I don't know why he has a dad bod, but can you expect him to look like me in 4 months' time, getting ready for the combine, coming off a national championship? No. So what makes you think that he would be any less significant as an NFL quarterback because of the way he looks? Because he proven with that dad bod, who knows, he may even looked worse like that under pads, right? During the season, he may have looked worse than that under pads, because remember, he was getting ready for the combine. So from all that time from the combine on, you're just training for the combine. So technically you're going to be losing some fat. So odds are he probably had more fat in the prime of his career during that national championship run. We just didn't see it because he was wearing that rib cage, that rib belt thing, right, to protect his ribs. Do you see where I'm going with this? I think it holds weight, but I don't think it's the ultimate determination on whether or not you should take a guy off the board or drop him down simply because he has like a high fat percentage. I don't know. What are your thoughts there?
You know, I personally never thought of, you know, Mac Jones's body, like basically on Twitter and everybody, you know, they're the ones bringing it up, you know, like, I know it's so funny. Cause like, you know, if you're going to be saying that about, you know, the quarterback, what about many offensive linemen? Those guys are big dudes, and some of them are a little bit heavy, but you know, that's what they're looking for. So you can't really say, oh, just because a guy has a little bit of fat, he's going to be really bad. Now, I do agree that, you know, at number 3, he's not worth being picked there. But we will see, like, you know, once he's drafted to a team, because I know, you know, that they're going to make him, you know, work out and see if he loses the fat. But if, say, like after 5 years in the league and he still looks like that, you know, that's going to be a really good question. It's just, is that how he looks? Or, you know, can he really work out? Because, you know, many football fans see these players, and when they take their shirts off, they have like these like ripped muscles, and they expect every athlete to be that way, you know? So for me personally, like, I can care less, but at the end of the day, can you play? That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. You hit it. You ended it perfectly. I don't care if you were 400 pounds and you played quarterback. If you played like a number 1 quarterback in the NFL and the franchise top 3 quarterback, I don't care. You can eat all the hamburgers, all the cheeseburgers, all the pizza you want. Heck, I'd even buy it for you. I'd be like, hey, you haven't ate a pizza yet. Here you go. I'm being serious, because at the end of the day, I don't care what you look like. And take it from me, I'm in the best shape of anyone. But take it from me, I don't care if you were the quarterback of my team, and like I said, and you wanted Krispy Kreme donuts and that was your pregame meal, I would buy you 24 boxes of Krispy Kreme. Hey, knock yourself out, bro. Just don't throw up on my couch. I'm being serious, though. I'm being serious, dude. Like, and that's the thing that's funny, is because a lot of these people on Twitter, and most of them are coming from Twitter. It's not everyone. Let's be honest about it. 100% of the people are coming. 99.9% are on Twitter saying about this dad bod thing. A lot of them who are tweeting this stuff out probably don't even work out themselves. So how can they put this standard on someone else who's even at a professional level when you're not even getting it on a average level in your own life? And you're projecting someone else to do it in their life when they're having success in their job. So I'm not defending Mac Jones. Look, could he come in a little bit better shape physically? Probably. I would admit that. So I'm with a lot of people on that. I think he could have did something a little bit more, but ultimately he plays quarterback. He doesn't play cornerback, right? He's not a Patrick Surtain. You look at Patrick Surtain. If I looked at Patrick Surtain, and if I'm looking to mold someone in the IFBB Pro Men's Physique competition, Patrick Surtain would be my guy. I'd look at him, but that's someone I can work with. JC Horn, that's somebody I can work with. Go down the list. Micah Parsons, he'd be good for classic physique. That's someone I can work with. Najee Harris could be something I can work. Javonte Williams, someone I can work with. Quarterback position? Okay, let's go about the quarterback position. I look at the quarterback position. Everyone's, oh, this guy has frame. Zach Wilson, probably not ideal for men's physique, right? He's not big enough. He doesn't have the muscle, the bone density and the muscle density to go ahead and make that play. Justin Fields, maybe. Trey Lance, absolutely. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So just because people look at somebody and they talk like, oh man, this guy's ripped, and I get it all the time. No joke. The 49ers coaches always joke around like, hey, when you're going to become the strength and conditioning coach for our team? Like even their own strength and conditioning coach would make jokes about this. Like legit, like on different coaching staffs, it'd be a running joke because at the end of the day, it's like, how do I get like this? Mike McGlinchey asked me, hey, how do you get arms like that? Players all the time ask me, hey, I saw your Instagram video. How do you lift so much weight? Like, what do you do for your strength? These are questions that I get asked all the time. Yeah, it's interesting to find that they're coming to me for advice when in actuality they have those guys in place to really push them forward. So it's interesting to see like what their workout routine is, what their diet program is, because a lot of the times I tell you this, every time I was done with, doing my work with the NFL media, at Levi Stadium, because my office was there, I'd roll down to Taco Bell down the street, right by the gas station. And guess who I'd see rolling up in there? The 49ers players. Interesting, right?
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? Because if I was a football player, I wouldn't be eating Taco Bell unless I was someone like George Kittle going to Panda Express. And hey, if you want to be George Kittle, go to Panda Express. Hey, by all means, have it because hey, you're getting it done on the field. So again, good analogy. George Kittle eats Panda Express, orange chicken. That's his meal. Go for it, dude. You're the best tight end in the NFL. Heck, I get you a lifetime guarantee card at Panda Express. Have fun with it. So yeah, I think it's really interesting about that. Tony Nagatanya has a question. Has anyone substantiated Mac Jones' second DUI? I only think he had one, which is problematic, but kids do make mistakes. Do you know anything about that? Because I don't.
Yeah, I've been hearing like basically after his pro day.
Okay.
Like this DUI thing came out, and I'm gonna say this. Like I've been to college, and I was 18 one time, I was 19 one time, and when you're young, you do foolish things. And now if it was done, if like, I really can't say nothing about it. I don't really know a lot about it, but I will say this, like, just because you get, you look at a player and they make one, boneheaded mental mistake and then you judge them. But if their action is like again and again and again and again, like it doesn't stop, then you can say, all right, no. So like if Mac Jones is like, if he got a little bit too much, and then he started driving and he wasn't thinking straight, and it is what it is, that's how I see it. But if he does have this consistency that all right, this thing came out, but then if there's more things under it, the NFL, I'm gonna say this, the NFL is a little bit biased when it comes to a lot of things, and I don't have like an hour to talk about it, but I will say this. After, one great example, after Kaepernick, did his little thing, a lot of the NFL, teams were like, we don't want that. We don't want any distractions. Even Deshaun Watson, that stuff, that's distraction, how they see it.
Right.
They don't want that stuff. So that they are looking for players who are basically like button up, great character, and that's what they're looking for. And that's just how the league is. That's why, personally, Roger Goodell, in my opinion, is an idiot. Since he's been the commissioner, even the players complain about his substance policies and other, BS. But at the end of the day, the 49ers, I think after Jed York, after that fiasco, that's why he brought in John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
Two guys, they may not look like Bill Belichick and those other great coaches. They're just looking for guys who could be good leaders, and they bring in players. And what they've been doing has been really good, and we've moved away from that. So hopefully when it comes to Mac Jones, wherever he goes, we'll see how that happens. But I'm not really taking it, serious, because if that's the only thing to worry about, no big deal. If we're all young ones, we've done things we probably don't even want to talk about on the live stream. But, as you get older, you start to realize, oh, that was dumb and boneheaded.
Right. No, absolutely. It is something to take into consideration, because it's better to have someone with a clean slate than someone who had some baggage and red flags, because that is something is something. It's not like it's nothing. But I will say this, getting to your point, yes, everyone does make mistakes. Everyone does deserve a second chance. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to hurt his draft stock too much. I think he's still going to be wherever he's slated to go, that no one's going to be surprised where he's picked at. All right, so we have a question here. Jason Ellsworth. D-Wade, first of all, thank you so much, man. How you doing here in the BEASTwriter family? Jason Ellsworth says, if Dak fell to the 4th for a DUI, I think that Jones should fall to the 5th. Jones had gotten in a car accident in his DUI. What are your thoughts there? See, I mean, this is like some issues that people are raising with the DUI. I don't know. I don't think it's going to affect Mac Jones. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I just don't think it's going to affect him that much.
Personally, like anyone who fixates on this little mistake. Like I said, I don't know a lot of information. I think I got to read up about it and then get all the facts and stuff. But, if Dak Prescott had a DUI, that's what the question said, and he went to the 4th round. Well, since he's been in the league, he hasn't, done anything, like that.
That's a good point.
He was young. And when it comes to Mac Jones, I really don't want to get, to Mac Jones, number 3 pick. No, where he should be drafted. No, I'm not going to get to that. I'm just going to be very, very, very simple and say, if Mac Jones was had the best college football season out of any quarterback, and it really shows you he can play football.
Yeah,
but we are moving away from like Peyton Manning, who back when he was there, he wasn't the fastest guy, but he had some he was able to move in the pocket, and the league has changed. The college system is true. It's moving into the NFL. Quarterbacks have to be mobile, not Lamar Jackson.
Right.
But they have to be mobile. And that's why my favorite quarterback is Josh Allen, because, he has a good arm. He throws the ball. Of course, he has really good weapons on that team. But I don't know if his first 2 seasons, he was one of the top rushers on the Bills. So you want him to move away from that as he gets older. You want Lamar Jackson to move away what he's doing as he gets older. Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, in our division, we see it all the time. And I tell people, Kyle Shanahan, has had enough time to realize that 2 of your quarterbacks have really good arms. They're not big. They also can run. And so that's the reason why when many people, tell me, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is good. He's good. Unfortunately, his injury has prevented him from going to that ceiling. So you do have to get someone like Justin Fields and Trey Lance, because Kyle Shanahan will coach you and use what you already have, but make you better at the system that he wants. So hopefully, we've learned from history, because if Mac Jones is drafted, I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but it's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. You're counting on Jimmy Garoppolo to finish out his contract, because Mac Jones, no matter how great of a season he had, and then also those who say that he had really good receivers and he's not going to do well, every rookie quarterback needs to be developed. And it's true. If he lands with us, he's landing at a good spot where he doesn't have to come in like Trevor Lawrence and probably Zach Wilson, who will be forced to go in there, because I don't know who the backup quarterbacks on those 2 teams are. So at least we have a quarterback, which a lot of people are mixed about, but at least we have a quarterback who has played. So, yeah.
Oh, great point. That's a great point. Nico Wilson from the BEASTwriter family says, I like Fields. Do you think Fields would do Fields? Who's Fields? Do you get that question? Do you think Fields will do good in our system? Also going to an already built team when healthy will help. Oh, Fields. I like Fields. Do you think Fields will do good in our system? I think that's the question. I think Fields would do good in Kyle Shanahan's system. Ultimately, I think Zach Wilson is the 49ers target and number 1 a choice. But if Zach Wilson falls off the board to the New York Jets or possibly even the Jacksonville Jaguars, don't be surprised if Zach Wilson goes number 1. I'm telling you guys, don't be surprised if Zach Wilson goes number 1. There's no guarantee that's going to be Trevor Lawrence. But if he's off the board before the Niners are on the clock, ultimately, I think Justin Fields is going to be the pick. And for this exact reason, I think he fits their system extremely well. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I give a lot of credit for people who study Justin Fields and, who actually watch his games, watch the tape. And yes, he does need to develop a little bit more. I saw one game, I don't know if it was this year, against Michigan State, and the first possession, he threw the ball very slowly. I don't know why that happened. Mm-hmm. And he was missing his receivers on like less than 5 yards. So that was a little concern for me. Now I just can't, judge a player for one series and one game.
Right.
But Justin Fields, like someone today, like I watch Colin Coward, occasionally in the mornings, to listen to some of the things he says, and his, I don't know if it's like one of his persons who's on the TV with them. She was saying that why has Justin Fields fallen under Zach Wilson, and they're giving their opinions and their takes, but Zach Wilson had a full season, so he was able to showcase all the games that were on TV, and that's why Zach Wilson went up there. But Justin Fields, if he's at 3, at one point they were saying, oh, he could go number 1, like that. So for us, it's going to be a steal because you're going to have 2 other quarterbacks that are going to be going off the board, and Justin Fields, one thing that I think is going to work is that if Kyle Shanahan knows you, even if he just met you one day, he loves that familiarity. That's why he's kept Mike McDaniels, because I found out that he goes, with his father when he was very, very young. So basically, if Kyle Shanahan knows you, he's gonna keep you. That's why he let LaFleur go with Saleh to the Jets.
Interesting point. Let's go ahead and talk about some draft stuff. Okay, overall, may not be Niner related. We have fans from all different fan bases, obviously. Let's talk about the NFL draft history as it pertains to Jim Trotter and, a lot of these quarterbacks becoming busts. I actually broke it down even a step further, piggybacking on his analysis, because I thought we had to bring to the table really, really insightful. Did you know that when it comes to the quarterback position and trading inside the top 5, trading inside the top 5 since 1998, there have been 9 trades that were made trading up for a quarterback inside the top 5. Of those trades, only 2 panned out. Isn't that interesting? Let me repeat that. Since 1998, there were 9 trades for teams that moved up inside the top 5 for a quarterback. Of those 9 trades trading up for a quarterback inside the top 5, only 2 of them panned out. So the odds are in the favor that these quarterbacks are going to be a bust. The only 2 that panned out were Eli Manning and Michael Vick. Let me just go down the trades that were made, okay? In 1998, to move up 1 spot to number 2, San Diego Chargers gave up the number 3 overall pick, a second-round pick, number 33 overall, a future 1999 first-round pick, and 2 players, Eric Metcalf and Patrick Sapp, to the Arizona Cardinals for Ryan Leaf. Bust. Okay, let's fast forward. All right. In 2001, to move up 4 spots to number 1, the Atlanta Falcons gave up the number 5 overall pick, their 3rd round pick, and a 2002 future 2nd round pick and wide receiver kick returner Tim Dwight to the San Diego Chargers for Michael Vick. That's a boom. He panned out. In 2004, just a few years later, to move up for quarterback Eli Manning, the New York Giants gave up the number 4 overall pick, which ended up being Phillip Rivers, 3rd round pick, number 65, and a future 2005 first round pick and 5th round pick to San Diego. In turn, they got Eli Manning. Again, a boom. 5 years later, in 2009, to move up 12 spots to number 5. All right. The New York Jets gave up the number 17th overall pick, their 2nd round pick, number 52, and 3 players, Kenyon Coleman, Brett Ratliff, and Abram Elam to Cleveland for Mark Sanchez. Bust. 2012, this is where it gets interesting for you Niner fans. Who was there in there? Oh, that's Mike Shanahan, right? 2012 to move up 4 spots to number 2 overall. Number 2, Washington gave up the number 6th overall pick, their 2nd round pick, number 39, a future 2013 first round pick, and a 2014 future first round pick to St. Louis for RG3. Interesting. RG3, bust. Few years later, in 2016, to move up 14 spots to number 1, the Los Angeles Rams gave up the number 15th overall pick, a 2nd round pick, number 43, a 2nd round pick, number 45, 3rd round pick, number 76, and a future 2017 first-round pick and third-round pick to Tennessee. And the Rams yield back in return Jared Goff, a fourth-round pick, and a sixth-round pick. Jared Goff, obviously not in LA anymore, so he could be considered a bust. Same draft class, 2016, to move up 6 spots to number 2. Philadelphia gave up number 8 overall, third-round pick number 77, a fourth-round pick number 100, and a future 2017 first-round pick and 2018 second-round pick to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for Carson Wentz, who ended up being a what? A bust, because he's no longer on the team. Where is he now? He's with the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so 2017, the very following year, we all know what happened with the 49ers, right? In 2017, to move up 1 spot to number 2, Chicago gave up the number 3 overall pick, a third-round pick, number 67, fourth-round pick, number 111, and future 2018 third-round pick to San Francisco, which ended up being Tarvarius Moore for Mitchell Trubisky. Bust. 2018, to move up 3 spots to number 3 overall, the New York Jets gave up number 6 overall, second-round pick, number 37, second-round pick, number 49, and a future 2019 second-round pick for Sam Darnold. Bust. So the odds are telling you that they're going to be busts. Would you agree with that? And does that scare you?
Well, drafting in the top 10, and if you're a team that needs a quarterback, you're going to draft a quarterback. Now, if you're expecting the quarterback to win you a Super Bowl, by himself, you have to be, excuse my language, but you got to be, idiotic and stupid to believe that. Because at the end of the day, these young kids, are basically being pushed up and say, oh, yeah, you're going to be the next, John Elway, Joe Montana, these Hall of Fame guys. So for me, I know when you draft a quarterback, your team is trash. They're garbage, and you're not going to, have the success. Now, you do have quarterbacks who, do draft a quarterback. They do have pieces, not, and you're able to develop and grow a team about 3 to 4 years, and then they're in the playoffs. That's how you want that to happen. But that doesn't really happen. Now, the 49ers, for me, when you look at their team, do we look like a team that is drafting at number 3? No. If we, had, a healthy team and everybody played well, we would have been picking at the bottom, and we would not have been talking about quarterbacks. So Kyle Shanahan, has learned, and he's going to be like, we're going to take the best available quarterback, because if Jimmy Garoppolo somehow has 2 amazing seasons, stays healthy, plays 32 games, goes deep in the playoffs, maybe reaches a Super Bowl, one thing that's going to suck for us is that we have to pay Garoppolo. While you have a young quarterback you're developing, you're paying him a rookie contract, and then you can take your time. Now, if Garoppolo gets hurt, like John Lynch is saying, we're only drafting a quarterback because they want depth at that position in case their quarterback goes down. They did the right decision. Now, yes, it did cost, future picks.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I think I'm the only person that's not worried, because I know that Kyle Shanahan, he's worked with Matt Schaub. If you remember that, Matt Schaub was a nobody. And then, he was really good, did not have the winning record, So at the end of the day, I think if he has the right quarterback that has the talent, has the arm strength, and plays that system that he wants, because he said, I want a quarterback who is mobile, but I'm not going to sacrifice his arm talent. So basically, he just made it. That's the reason why these Mac Jones people, we want someone that stays in the pocket and not move. Kyle Shanahan just said, I want someone who is able to be mobile but accurate. And the only quarterback that I feel makes a lot of sense is Justin Fields, because you can coach him, and then it's not like he's going to come in week 1. Maybe, half the year, maybe Garoppolo is playing bad, then they're trying to get into the playoffs. Then you could put him in, like they did when Joe Flacco, when he was 4-6, and they say, you know what? We want to put Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson goes 6-1, and then the Lamar Jackson trend happened. So it is true, the quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson was drafted, I think, 32, and the Ravens had a good team. So that's what I think could happen. I think we may be like Baltimore. We're not as bad as our record says, but you look at the talent around them, and I think they'll take their time. If Garoppolo gets hurt, like midway through the season, or he's playing bad, they'll put Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and hopefully not Mac Jones if he is drafted.
Okay, let's talk about Mac Jones. If he is the pick, which ultimately everyone's saying, I'm not saying, I'm saying it's Justin Fields, but everyone wants to talk about Mac Jones because all the national media is pushing it. I still think it's going to be Justin Fields at the end of the day. If it is Mac Jones, and I'm wrong, and you're wrong, because you think it's Justin Fields too, right? Or do you think it's Mac Jones? Whoever. How bad do you think the 49er fan base will turn on Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch?
See, if Mac Jones is drafted, I can tell you right now, I will be really upset for about a week. But then I just got to suck it up and just see. Because whoever is drafted, like I want people to understand. If Justin Fields is drafted, if Trey Lance is drafted, somehow Zach Wilson or Mac Jones is drafted, you're entering the quarterback position who has two Hall of Famers, Joe Montana and Steve Young. So these quarterbacks have to realize that you better have the success because we will turn on you. Alex Smith, people have different opinions about him. He never lived up to expectations. I call him a bust because they gave him so much time, and I mean, I think like 7 seasons, and then before they had to trade him and go for Kaepernick. So when Jimmy Garoppolo came in and he won 5 games in a row, we put a lot of expectations on him. And now we're trying to get rid of him because we wanted Garoppolo to have the success that those other 2 quarterbacks. So
right.
It's hard going into a team that has like great quarterbacks. And we had 2 great quarterbacks. Like my parents' generation were spoiled with 5 Super Bowls and like 14, 15 seasons. And even in the 90s, they played against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys were like dominant,
The Cowboys were the standard. I hate to say it. I grew up in the same era. The Cowboys were definitely the standard. They were the standard. They were always beating up on us in the NFC Championship game. That was the Super Bowl. No one cared about the Super Bowl because everyone knew whoever came out of the NFC, whether it's the Cowboys or Niners, they were going to win the Super Bowl. They did for 5 years straight. And then it was the freaking Green Bay Packers in the late 90s. You remember that?
Yes.
The Green Bay Packers always had our number.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that. But no, getting back on your question, you make great points. I like your analysis on how I point out the history, but then you go back and say, well, this team is not the same as the other ones because this team is not a losing team. They have a good supporting cast in place. That's a good strong point. It's just hard to argue for me going against history at the end of the day. History tells us lots of things. And that's why history repeats itself. That's why history is so prevalent. That's why it's so important. That's why we teach history in school, because history, you can't say it didn't happen. It's history. It happened. History tells us there's only a 22% chance that these quarterbacks who teams trade up inside the top 5 for are going to pan out. So the bust rate is around 80% that the quarterbacks are going to bust in this year's draft class, trading up inside the top 5, meaning the San Francisco 49ers, who hold the number 3 overall pick, well, that's the team we're talking about. There's a 78% chance that that quarterback's going to bust, whoever that is. That's what the numbers tell you. So if you're a betting man in Vegas and you're watching this podcast, you're going to take the odds and say, I'm not going to, play on 6 or 8. I'm going to play the field because the field probably will hit more than that number that I'm going to be hitting right before the rollout comes out. So it's just going to be unrealistic for me to say, because if Mac Jones is the quarterback, I won't be upset for a week. I'll be upset for the 49ers fan base more than anything. And I will be upset, especially if he struggles. Dude, I tell you, if he comes in there week 8, week 9, and his first pass is a pick 6, like or he does something and he looks a little bit rattled, and then the media is going to be like, oh, well, it's his first start. And so like, we're going to interview him after the post game. How did you feel? Well, I was a little bit shaky, rookie vibes, I was a little, but I got in the groove of things after like the third drive. And by then, it's still kind of shaky. I'm still trying to fill things out. And then the next game comes in and he's starting. And then he struggles again. And then meanwhile, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or who could possibly go to the Denver Broncos, is shining, having better stats than Mac Jones. And all it takes is 2-3 games for the 49ers fan base to quickly turn on Mac Jones if he's the pick, because ultimately no 49er fan that I know wants Mac Jones as their quarterback. The only reason why the other few that want Mac Jones as a quarterback is because they're putting faith in Kyle Shanahan that he knows that what he wants in that quarterback. But ultimately, that guy was CJ Beathard. Let's not get it twisted. And the same things that he says about CJ Beathard, he's going to say about Mac Jones. You watch. And I'll pull up the side-by-side transcript, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, because I keep everything in the dirty archives right here. So that's what I'm saying. I just feel bad for the 49ers fan base if Mac Jones is picked. I'm sorry. I'm a huge Roll Tide fan. You guys know that. I like Mac Jones. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback, but not at 3 with the San Francisco 49ers. I just think that's fool's gold. It's a big mistake. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, then that is 100%. No, it is true. What you just said. Like, we cannot, say Mac Jones is the savior. Now, I'm going to double down on something, and I really don't care what anyone says on the chat or whatever. I think Trey Lance has the highest upside, and I'm going to put that
absolutely
marker, because I just found out that North Dakota uses a fullback. Their tight end plays the same way that George Kittle does.
Uh-huh.
Now, yes. Oh, he runs a lot. Okay, it's not his fault. That's his playing style. You can't penalize a quarterback for being a really good passer or being very mobile. And the reason why I'm going to say that, if we pass on Trey Lance and he goes to a team that's a little bit more better than us, has more, and then you give him time to develop, and then he does the same thing, which, I'm still mad of the Russell Wilson thing. If we do Trey Lance and another Russell Wilson happens again, I'm going to be really pissed off, because we could have Russell Wilson, and he's small, he played at a great college, and Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl. He played in 2, so he's going to be a Hall of Famer once he's retired. Trey Lance, I'm stomping on it, and I'm going to say that. Justin Fields, yes, I know a lot of people. Yeah, he's ready. He needs development. He needs development. After 1 year, you will see that he will be really good, because Trey Lance was doubted with all the universities, all the D1. He has a chip on his shoulder more than Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, all those guys, because nobody wanted him to play quarterback. Those are the quarterbacks I like.
Right.
That's why, I told you the last time, I like Kyle Trask. Oh, he's not good. I think he's better than Mac Jones, but I'm a person, that doesn't, bet on something unless I feel that that's what's going to happen. And you're going to see quarterbacks that were pushed up. They're going to be the bust. You talk about you and Trotter, all these guys who came out. They were pushed up. They were supposed to be super good. Matt Leinart, Vince Young. After 5 years, those guys were out of the league. Who would have thought Jay Cutler was going to last all of those guys in that draft class? So it's so funny how people, want to forget history and say, oh, you have to draft a quarterback in the top 10 and you're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm done hearing that stuff. I don't make a lot of money. I'm not at ESPN. I'm a small YouTuber, but I can tell you right now that I've been around a lot of athletes. Many of them never panned out, become professionals. And they said, we have big chips on our shoulder. We're undrafted. Nobody wants us. And we're continue to work out to get that opportunity in play. And those who make it, and they prove everybody wrong, just like you and your friend Jerry said, who would have thought that Tannehill is still in the league out of Andrew Luck and RG3? That is so funny, and it's very humorous, and that's true. It's always a quarterback we don't know that will, after 5 years, they may be on another team, but they resurrect their career. And look what happened.
Yeah. Great points. Well, thank you so much, John Jay, for entertaining us on this live stream once again. Follow my man, John Jay, 49ers Ultimate Report. You can find him on YouTube. John, thank you so much. Mahalo, bro.
Can I say one last thing?
No, you can't. What's up, dude?
Okay, so I'm almost at 500 subscribers. So if anyone wants to help me reach that, milestone, once I hit 500, I'm gonna do a lot of things on my channel, and I'm going to incorporate all of my subscribers. So we hit that 500 subscriber. I'm going to give back, and I'm going to do a lot of good things on my channel, because that's why I created this channel, not to become famous. I want to connect with 49er fans, talk football. So if anybody wants to help out who's watching this live stream, I would really appreciate it. I'll do giveaways and a lot of other stuff as well. So thanks very much for giving me this quick second. And yeah, thanks very much for having me on.
Congratulations. Yeah, get this guy to 500 subscribers. Good guy. John Jay, is always a privilege to have you on the show. Thank you so much, my man, and take it easy. All right, so that'll be it for today for this live stream. I hope you guys liked what we had to say. If you did, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. Also, for those of you who have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Just open up a YouTube, go to youtube.com/BEASTwriter and subscribe there, and you'll be entered to win this Dry Fit 49ers Fit Founding Members t-shirt. You can only get it here in the BEASTwriter family. We are also giving away this farewell season to Candlestick flag. This was supposed to be given out to a winner, Anthony Lozado. Unfortunately, Anthony Lozado has yet to claim his prize. It's been 2 weeks, so we're just going to go ahead, and I held it off for 2 weeks, and we're just going to be giving this away to one other lucky winner. So go ahead and do that. Subscribe to your boy. Again, thank you so much. And that's it for today. Hope you guys had fun. This was a good live show. We had Mike Tang on earlier. We had my man John Jay. And that's pretty much it for this live stream. So I'm about ready to hit the gym. You guys know the deal. Thank you so much. BEASTwriter out.